Welcome to Living Life and Love. I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. This is a global vitiligo awareness and education podcast. You will hear the true and authentic stories from people living with vitiligo. You'll also hear from their loved ones, medical professionals, licensed mental health therapists, relationship counselors, global vitiligo support foundations and organizations, community leaders, and so much more. Sit back and enjoy Living Life and Love. Once again, I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome to Living Life and Love. I'm your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina. On today's show, I have Karen Sutton with me, and we're going to talk a little bit about Black businesses and hopefully give somebody some inspiration out there who wants to start their own business. So Karen, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here on today.
You're welcome.
My name is Karen Sutton. I'm a wife. I have 3 daughters. One of them is my bonus daughter. I reside here in North Carolina, or Durham, should I say. Let's see. I do have a brand new granddaughter who is only about 3 months old.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That is my joy. So it's a little bit, I'll tell you later about, how she's played a huge role in some decisions that I've made as well. But I am a business owner, a Black business owner, and I'm a breast cancer survivor as well. And so that has played a role in my decision making as far as my career as well. So, yes. So.
All right. Well, look, thank you for sharing. And people may know or may not know that last month was Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So there's a lot going on in October. So now we're in November. Well, November's almost over, but we're here.
Yes, that is correct. But breast cancer is celebrated or mentioned in October, but we try to make it awareness in every month and every day.
Absolutely.
Not just geared towards October. So
absolutely. And before we talk about your business, that is important, because although this is a vitiligo awareness and education podcast, we got to remember that we're still people first.
That's right.
And no matter who we are, where we are in life, we deal with multiple things at times. Some people, there's someone in the vitiligo community who may be dealing with breast cancer, or know somebody else who has gone through that journey, and as well as their vitiligo journey. So, I feel like as a host, I like to have a variety of topics. So that is one that I will bring back to my show. So I was actually trying to reach out to an organization I met at an event. I'm trying to think of the name of the church. And I need to reach back out to them because it was an organization that supports breast cancer awareness. Mm-hmm. And I do want to have the ladies on my show.
Mm-hmm. I may know who you're talking about, but yeah.
Okay. We'll talk a little bit more after this. So I wanted to have you on because you are a Black business owner. And there's someone within this vitiligo community who says, hey, I want to start a business, but I'm not sure how to do it. Mm-hmm. Or I want to start a business, but I'm fearful because of the challenges I may face. Mm-hmm. And I want to talk a little bit about that. And then we'll get into how we cross paths later and then give some other details. But let's start off. Share with our listeners the name of your business and where it's located.
So my business is Consider It Done Events and Meeting Center, and we're located in Raleigh, just on 6 Forks Road in the heart of Raleigh. And we're just a few miles down from North Hills, if you have any idea of where that is. But it's a beautiful, beautiful area, growing. And so, yeah, we're actually located in Raleigh, which is in North Carolina as well.
And for people that are in the area, if you know where the IHOP is off of 6 Forks, yes. It's IHOP, and there's 2, I think there's an Italian restaurant and a Mexican restaurant.
It is.
Right.
Yes, it's in the Peachtree Plaza.
Right.
Peachtree Plaza
Absolutely.
is what it's called there.
And I
So,
think that name may have changed over the years because I had no idea where it was. I'm like, Peachtree, I don't know what that is.
Peachtree
But
Plaza, yeah.
and what's funny, there used to be a oh gosh, it was a pottery place upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to take kids there for summer camp to do
Mm-hmm.
pottery, but I
Mm-hmm.
had no idea that it was a place located behind it because my GPS took me there. I'm going, why am I going behind the building?
Yes,
Like,
there's
there's nothing back there, but no, there's
quite a
plenty of
few
space
shops
back
back
there.
there. Yes, very nice area.
Absolutely. Well, how did you get started with your business? I think that's always a good starting point because, a lot of times it starts with the dream or an idea, and then you got to make it come to life. So what was
Yeah.
that process, the thoughts, everything that went into that?
So, it actually started out as a boutique. So I originally had a personal clothing boutique, and that was had always been a dream of mine. That was to have a boutique, and so my daughter and we kind of pursued the building together. And by the way, I still have my boutique. It's only online now.
Okay.
And then, yes. So what happened there is after having the building, she decided to, go on and do some things that she wanted to do. So Consider It Done Events was birthed as an LLC this year. However, I did have Consider It Done Events as like a more of a, I guess you would call it more of a hobby in a sense,
Right.
where I would go out and do decorating, that type of thing, now for like 12 years. And so by that being near to my heart, I thought, my granddaughter was born, and I'm trying to keep this short. My granddaughter was born, and when she was born, I decided to close down the boutique, which was there. And I had a smaller version of the event center in the back, tear out the walls and make it
Right.
completely an event center. So that's kind of how it was birthed.
Okay. Okay. And with starting a Black business, and I know that area very well. What were some of the challenges you faced?
As far as building the business,
Yes.
yes. Well, some of the challenges that I faced was, one, being able to move from my job.
Right. Right.
Yes, I worked a 9 to 5. I was actually in the medical field for 13, 14 years. And and for me, it went from going to work daily, but still in my, my genre of having my own business. So I would go to work with a lot of my business. I would, you know, pursue online things. And I just felt like either I'm going to do this job or I'm going to get fired.
Right. Right.
I felt that. And so with that, I decided that after my breast cancer journey, that this is the time, because a lot of my work in the business that I was doing was on my own time. And so I felt that I need to take advantage of this. And so during COVID, what I decided was to take, and this was when everybody was getting the stimulus checks. You remember when
Right.
that happened? We got the stimulus check. I took my stimulus check, which was, the $600. I went to the bank. I said, if I'm going to trust God, I'm going to trust God.
Right.
So I
Right.
went to the bank and I opened, that was the first step for me, was to get my my LLC, and I opened a business bank account. And when I did that, I did not look back, and I just kept moving from there. So some of the challenges at that point was just making the decision that this is what I want to do and standing on that. I can say that my husband supported me, but for me, it was kind of back and forth. Do I want to work the 9 to 5? Or do I want to be a full-time entrepreneur? So there were some things that, I would have to say that I needed to get in place at that time. And that was things like my retirement, things of that nature, because it is tough. It's a challenge, just, being an entrepreneur in itself. That's the challenge in itself. But just making up my mind that this is what I wanted to do, leaving all of the outside forces away from me. So yes. So,
And when I think about anything we want to do, I think fear is the one thing that stops us. The fear of the unknown. We see how businesses run. We see when they're doing well. We see sometimes even when they're going through those challenges, but it's that fear that you don't know. And having confidence in your own skills. I think that's a challenge as well.
Yes.
Even for me to do a podcast was a challenge. I went to school for communications, radio, TV, journalism, but at the time in the 90s, everybody's fighting for the same job. So I was like, let me go into education, let me work with students and work with our youth. But then during the pandemic, I was offered, hey, can you come onto my podcast and share your journey, your story? I was like, about vitiligo? No, I never talked about that, and I did. And it was fearful at first, but once I started, I kind of felt like, okay, I can do this. I'm equipped to what I need to do this. So I can talk to people, which I didn't expect to do, but I was offered my own radio show.
Right.
And I do appreciate that, but it also gave me an opportunity to meet people from around the world, and also to be able to share my own journey, my own story, and unpack my own fears and all that stuff. But then I left in October. I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you're right. And I do believe that fear is could be a major factor, and it was for me, because for years, I can say for at least 3 to 4 years, I remember saying, I am going to have my own business, and I just kind of start right now. But I still need to work this job,
Right.
And so for me, just knowing that there was, fear there, but knowing that I could believe in myself, because I knew that the opportunity as far as being able to present, being able to sell. I had been in sales, you know what I mean? And I knew what I had to offer. So for me, it was like, I know that I can do this. And so, I just kept believing in myself, and knowing that, I can do this. I know I can do it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
And with those fears comes those triumphs as well. Like you said, you have to believe in yourself. Sometimes other people don't believe in your dream because they don't see it. But when you can see it and you believe in what you can do and what you want to do, when God opened up those doors, he says, go ahead and walk through. I got you.
That's right.
But people are a little bit different. They're like, are you sure? There's always the naysayers, but you have to trust in the process. You have to trust in God and just
absolutely.
Yeah.
So for me, just kind of keeping the outside forces out, and then just fully focusing on what I'm doing without having to hear, other people saying, oh no, like you said, you shouldn't do that, or you can't do this. And so for me, it was to try and keep those things out and stay focused on what I was doing. Now, there were some, obstacles, but even with the obstacles, you learn how to, go through the obstacle portion of it, but continue to move forward without having so many people, doubting you. So like you said, I trust God through the process. So.
And it is hard. I think about even with podcasting, people want to compare different podcasts. And my thing is, I don't want to compare to anyone. I just feel like let's get whatever the message is and hope that it reaches the person that it needs to reach. And I had, I've had friends say, well, how many followers? I don't I'm not focused on the followers.
That's
I
right.
said it's about the content reaching the right person.
That's
I said
right.
whether I may know who it is, or maybe I do, or don't, it that doesn't matter. It's
Right.
just knowing that I've maybe have impacted somebody's life in a positive way.
Right.
I said, and that's all that matters to me at this point. And getting the messages out. Like there's certain messages, like you mentioned about having, or going through the breast cancer journey. Like that's some discussion that needs to be had.
Mm-hmm.
Learning about Black businesses and knowing that Black businesses can survive and thrive. That's a message to be shared with people, so somebody else can be inspired.
That's right.
And that's why I wanted you on, because when I first met you, and for the listeners out there, we're having a vitiligo event here in North Carolina. Yes, every year we do a Christmas event. It started off as a fall event, but they moved it to the holidays. So, and we were looking for different locations, and some places said no, some places said we don't have space anymore. No, we're not going to rent. And then finally, our contact person, which is Nicole and Tiffany, they were like, "Oh, we found a spot." And I'm glad we went there to, officially meet you and see the space. And I was sitting there like, well, I was actually standing. I was like, I said, that's like a podcast ready to go. Let's do it.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's perfect.
So let's talk about the types of events that you like to host, because I think that's going to be important for people to hear.
Yeah. So the type of events, monthly, we call it Community Unity. And Community Unity is where, and this is, I partner with my next door neighbor. She's in the business, in the building, well, the same building, but the storefront right next to me.
Yes.
I partner with her, and we have anywhere from, I don't know, 16 to 20 plus vendors that come in. And these are vendors that have different products, and they're part of the community. And so they come in and they set up their products and they sell. So what we do is we advertise, and we invite the community to come in to purchase from these mostly, Black owned businesses, right, that we are trying to help get on board. So then now they can branch out. So we do that, and we, of course, have some good food there, and there's all types of things. There's all types of things. We advertise on Eventbrite, a lot of networking going on. Right. So there's plenty of vendors there. There is a couple that we will have come in. For instance, we had last month someone to come through from like the Medicaid or the insurance. As an insurance opportunity, she came in and was able to talk with some of the people that needed insurance, because we know that's important. Right. So we are usually, we'll have the Community Unity. I rent out to, people that have like their parties, milestone parties. We have baby showers. We've even had like church events. Right. We've had couples get married there. We've had receptions. There's so many different types of things that we have. We are gearing now towards having more networking events, which is business related, where people can come in and they'll set up to find out things like tax preparation. That's important in your business. To also have someone come in and can talk about having group counseling sessions. Also to have someone to come in and discuss the importance of having a LLC or an S Corp and what the differences are, banking, how that's important. So we'll have lots of those people to come in through networking. We also have educational workshops. I can go on and on. Educational workshops. We have classes, different people that come in usually during the week to have like soap classes, balloon classes, different types of things there. And so now we're moving on at the top of the year, and we'll have more corporate type of events that we want to focus on having. We'll have a nice size audio visual area. And yeah, so those are just some of the things that we're working on.
Oh, okay. Look, my wheels are spinning. I'm hearing all this and I'm going, wow, wow. Okay, great, wonderful. Because I do want to be able to share all that information. One of the things that we do within our community as well, with the North Carolina Vitiligo support community, we do presentations as well. Different venues in the schools and churches. We talk about vitiligo education awareness. Because we feel a lot of people are aware, but they don't know all the details and the ins and outs of living with vitiligo and some of the challenges we face, and how it's different where, you met Katrina, or you met Tiffany. Hers is different than my vitiligo is different. And Nicole has vitiligo. Hers is different. And you meet other people in the community. It could be 20 of us, and it's also different for every person.
Yeah.
And we like to be able to spread that awareness and information for people, just so they can be informed. Because as much as we're connected to our phones, sometimes we just don't know the right steps to take to find out stuff. And I feel like it's right at your fingertips. Just
right.
That's vitiligo. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the partnership we have with your event company. I guess I can say company. Yeah, I'm just gonna say company. Yeah. Because we have a lot of great ideas, and we're just always looking for an outlet to be able to share these ideas. The community unity, I feel like, is wonderful because I just had a podcast. We were talking about the village, how the village is starting to go away. But we have to find ways to bring the pockets of the village together. And this seems like a great opportunity to bring people together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Big on the community.
Absolutely. And one thing about that area, although it's evolving and changing, we're still there. Sometimes we feel that as our communities are being not necessarily diversified, but evolving into something that we're not familiar with.
Right.
We still have people who are there. We just need to reach out and say, hey, I'm still here. This is what we're having. Come on out, be a part of this. And like you said, networking, that's important.
It is important.
We get tied into, a lot of times, I got this, you got yours over there. No, we need to say, let's do this together. Come together,
Yes.
So
yes, I think when we figured that part out, when we can figure that part out and understand, like you said, it's not about one person, it's about having a team of people, and then knowing, the strengths in each person, and then bringing it together. And once we can figure that out, I believe that our community would be a lot better.
Absolutely, because we're stronger together.
We're stronger
by yourself
together.
You may be strong,
but we're stronger together.
Right. And this person may have strength here or have knowledge here. And, I often feel like, why are we holding on to so much knowledge? Like, we're selfish. And I'm like, no, let's get out of that. If I know something and I can share it with somebody else, or I have a connection to somebody else, let's work together. Let's build together, Gosh, you share so much about your different events, and I'm sitting there going, wow. So with your company, as it's starting to evolve and change with time, are you looking to expand or maybe have some other pocket locations?
Yes, that's been a conversation. So my goal, because this center is a more of an intimate type of space, and a lot of people they want just that, the intimate space, which, hey, it's great, but my goal is to move forward with maybe keeping the center as a small center, but then also branching out into having a larger space just for those that would like to have a larger space as well. So with that, there's a few other things that we're kind of got working as well.
Good.
But for the most part, we are looking to branch out, not maybe anytime soon, but
when the time is right.
Yes.
That's what I would say. When the time is right, because sometimes you don't want to move too fast and you don't want to move too slow.
That's me. I've never really been a hasty type of moving person. I would like to research.
Right.
I'll get information before I actually make moves. So yeah.
Absolutely. Well, let me ask you this, and we're going to wrap up soon, but if there's a new, not a new person, but somebody wants to start a new venture or create their own event planning or any other type of business,
Mhm.
what are some words of advice or anything you would like to share with them?
Yes, words of advice. The first thing I would say is to pray about it, seek God in it, and make sure that that's what you want to do and that's what He wants you to do.
Right.
Then, secondly, outside of that, I would make sure that you create a business plan. And then, as I mentioned before, you want to make sure you have the right mindset, which is number one, in order to plan, get your LLC. And then also make sure that you've got your finances together. When I say that, I mean start working on your credit now,
Right.
because usually your credit will stem from your personal credit over into your business credit. So those things are extremely important when you're trying to build your business. And then you want to stay connected with all types of people, not just us. There's so
Right.
many different types of people that you're going to need. So never think that because you didn't connect with one person that you can't connect with another person, and you never know who you may run into. And everybody's important. It's like a puzzle, and
Right.
there's so many different places here where you may not need that person right away, but then you might need her, or him, in the future. So I would say stay focused. You're going to have some good days. You're going to have bad days, but trust me, the good days outweigh the good days outweigh, and stay focused. Yeah. So.
Absolutely. It's funny. Like I just restarted this podcast.
Mhm.
Like I said, I gave it up last October. And I said, I'm done with it. I'm not going to do another podcast. I'm good. I'm tired. And I went to a conference in June, but I thought about it. I said, if I restarted my podcast, I need to figure out, how do I want to do it? Do I want to just do radio again? Do I want to do it where I can see the person and the audience can see the person? How would I do this? Not sure. Went to a conference in Indiana. And one of the doctors there, he said, I want to get on your podcast. So, let's talk about when. And I'm going, oh, I gave up my podcast. So I don't know. I didn't tell him that, but I said, okay, we'll talk. And I said, man, okay, that was kind of an eye opener. So he's excited about coming on the podcast.
That's awesome.
And I need to figure out, how do I restart it? So when I got home from the conference, I immediately went to work. I was like, okay, this is how I want to do it. This is the format. I'm going to put it on YouTube. I'm going to do this and do that. And that's it. I just kicked it off, and now I'm going strong. And, and once again, you talked about how everybody plays an important role.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. So when I do my shows, I talk to pretty much anyone. I've had people on from other countries.
Mm-hmm.
It is not just a show for Black people, although I do
Right.
have those discussions.
Right.
About the impact of politics and education, and
Right.
just did a podcast with a group of men, and we talked about the importance of men and supporting our youth, and all these different things. And I'll have mental health therapists on, and relationship counselors, and I have a relationship discussion. And I feel like all these conversations are important,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of who I'm talking to.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody plays a role in this community. And I'm talking, when I say this community, I'm talking about the world. Everybody plays an important role.
That's right.
Yeah.
That is right. I also think that it's important to know that you are going to fail, and that's okay. Meaning, some fail is good, some is bad, but you are going to fail. But I think that if we learn how to give ourselves some grace,
right,
that's so important. Being able to, be okay with I didn't do this the correct way, and knowing how, even if you didn't do it the correct way, that you'll have the chance to go back and, fix it,
Right.
or start over, or however. But knowing that it's important to um, give yourself some grace through self-care. Sometimes
Absolutely.
all of that is important. It is very important to take care of yourself, because if you don't, then hey, your
Right.
business will not thrive. Yeah,
Absolutely. And two, try not to compare yourself to the next person.
mm,
I think we get into a lot of that comparison.
I
Well,
do.
they have this, they do it like this. Well,
Mhm,
how are you going to do it?
mhm.
How do you want your business to run?
That's right.
Yes, there are some formats out there that can help you, but I feel like when you do it your way, you design it your way, maybe with some guidance here and there,
Mhm.
it's going to be yours and it's going to be uniquely yours.
It's authentic, right?
Yeah, and
Exactly.
that's the part that is so important, because you don't want to be a clone of somebody else, because
Mhm,
then what's going to happen? Well, we've seen that before.
mhm,
Somebody's done that before. What do you have that's different?
mhm. That is so true, and I think that, like you said, if you can find the thing that makes your business different than the next, and like you said, and don't try to compare, because that's a killer,
Right.
comparing. So yeah.
Yeah. So and those baby steps are important. And you mentioned failure, and I get it. We don't like to fail, but
Mhm.
you learn from those moments when you say,
Learn.
okay, I didn't quite make that milestone I wanted. What can I do differently?
Mhm.
Or what else do I need to learn? Because sometimes we think we know it all. No, you're still in the learning process. And
Mhm.
even as you are in your business or whatever you're doing, it's still a learning process. I'm a
Right.
school teacher. And when I teach my students, I said, just because you didn't make the grade you wanted this time, doesn't mean you can't make it next time. Maybe you need to study harder. Maybe you
That's
need to listen in class when I'm trying to teach and you turn
right.
around playing with your friend. These are all these things that we have to learn. And just because you didn't achieve something this time doesn't mean the world is over. You still have another opportunity,
Right.
and keep
Right.
trying.
Right. 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 Like you said, if we could learn how to remain coachable, and also knowing who we need to be around.
Right.
There's certain crowds that you don't need to be around, but then there are crowds that you do need to be around. So that's important as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Karen, we are getting to the end of the show, and this is how I always like to wrap up my shows with my guests. I always let them share words of encouragement and anything they want to share with the listeners. But before we do that, I want you to give a spiel about your business. I want you to go ahead and talk it up right now. Just tell them once again where it's located, how they can reach you, and then I'll make sure I have all that information in this video as well.
Very good. Thank you so much. And again, my name is Karen Bennett Sutton, and I am the owner, operator, and CEO of Consider It Done Events and Meeting Center, which is located again at 7400 Six Forks Road. That's suite number 22 in Raleigh, about 3.1 miles down from North Hills Mall in the Peachtree, which is what we call it, mall area, across from the IHOP. So yes, we are there. We have a very nice, intimate center there, and we do our tours usually on Thursdays and Fridays. Our phone number there, if you're interested, am I allowed to give that?
Yes, you
It's
are.
919-636-6173. We would love to have a conversation with you to try and make your event, whatever that event is, special. We try to take the stress out of your beautiful day. That's usually what we try to do. So, yeah, as an encouraging word, I would say that if you continue to, I don't want to get too spiritual in this, but hey, this is just me. It's in me. When you do try to plan anything, plan it and then trust God in it. Again, don't worry about what people think or say. Just focus, stay focused. If you lose control, get back on track and stay focused in whatever it is that you have put to your mind to do. Don't worry about what other people think, what other people say. Just you stay focused in whatever it is that you're out to achieve, and stay positive. Stay positive.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Karen, thank you so very much for those words of encouragement. That information that you shared, I will make sure it's in this video. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, they can.
Thank you.
Meaning the website, phone number, images, whatever you need, I will put it up here.
Yes.
And for the listeners out there, excuse me, want you to stay encouraged. We understand that sometimes you have a dream, a goal that you quite can't achieve yet. Notice I said yet.
Yeah.
Always add yet. That means it may not be your time.
Right.
But when your time comes, make sure you trust in God, trust in yourself, and walk through that door. Don't let those doors slam in front of you. If they slam behind you, that means you don't need to go backwards. You keep moving forward, put it that way. And once again, for our listeners, the way I always like to end my show is this way. This is living life in love. When I talk about love, I'm talking about loving your spouse, your significant other, your family members, your friends, loving those coworkers that can be challenging at times. We get it. If you work with kids, you have kids, love your kids. We understand our youth are unique. I will put unique. They can bring some unique challenges with them, but still love them because they need to be loved. They want to feel loved. They need all of that. That stranger on the street, sometimes people cut us off when we're driving and we get in our feelings and, we call on them names and everything else. Yeah, we all guilty of that. I am too. But we don't know what people are dealing with. We don't know what people are going through. Sometimes just a simple hello, a smile could change somebody's day. So, but most of all, make sure before you do any of that, you look in the mirror. Every day, look at yourself and say, I love you, because we don't do enough of that. Mm-mm. We'll fix our hair, we'll shave, we'll do whatever we need to do, but we don't say, I love you. We just keep on moving, like up, going to work, going to church, wherever I'm going. Right. But stop and say, I love you to yourself, because we need that. You have been listening to Living Life and Love with your host, Mark Braxton from Raleigh, North Carolina, with my special guest, Karen Sutton. So thank you, Karen, for being here.
Thank you.
Y'all take care and God bless.